Very exciting news for diabetic patients that diabetes can be completely cured, and now diabetes is completely reversible in patients with diabetes type 1 and type 2. China and some other laboratories have conducted successful experiments in which they reverse the diabetes of patients with type 1 and type 2. What they did, they took some tissues from the patients and they differentiated those cells into beta cells, and those beta cells were working like the similar cells which can produce insulin in the body and decrease the blood sugar levels. In China, the experiments were conducted on animals and one patient. The patient was having diabetes since 25 years and he was having diabetic neuropathy and kidney failure, and his diabetes level were quite alarming. So they replaced the tissue of that patient and these cells were able to reduce his blood sugar level to 5.6% and later into 4%, and that he did not develop any side effects or any hypoglycemia or hyperglycemia. Now, these experiments are really authentic because they are published in Nature, and whatever Nature published is the authentic research, and that research is the practice of tomorrow. So the authenticity cannot be questioned. Now, they have to do experiments on large scale to know about the safety and efficacy of these stem cells, and after that these stem cells will be readily available in the market and people will be able to use these cells to produce insulin in their body normally, and they will not need any drugs or insulin injections daily, and they will be happily able to eat anything sweet or anything they were previously missing. Now, the hurdles to these experiments could be some pharmaceutical companies or maybe some complications that are not controllable. But I hope there will be no hurdles and these experiments will further succeed, be successful in large scale population, and people will be able to get rid of diabetes. Now this research is really exciting and important for me because my own family members have diabetes type 2 and my father also died because of complication from diabetes. In the next section I will show you the research papers which were published on these patients which showed their successful experiments. Now, these experiments or these research papers are authentic or not. They're really authentic and exciting papers because they're published in Nature. Now, what is Nature? Nature is the world's biggest publisher, authentic publisher, which has many worthy journals. Anything that is published in Nature is the practice of tomorrow. So today's research is tomorrow's practice. Now let me show you those exciting papers. Diabetes reversal. So in the first article, the Chinese labs did experiments on diabetes type 2 patients which was having a malfunction or a problem in the pancreatic tissues, the iris tissues which have the beta cells to control diabetes here. Now, the patient was a 59 years old patient having diabetes since 25 years, and he was having complicated diabetes with diabetic neuropathy and some kidney diseases about diabetes. Now, what they did, they took some tissues from the patient and then differentiated it into the beta cells of the pancreas and then did an intrahepatic transplantation into the patient. And those cells were able to create insulin and help the patient to control his blood sugar level. Now you can see the experiment here. They took the tissue from the patient here and then differentiated the cells into iris tissues, the pancreatic tissues which has the beta cells, and then injected into the transplanted into the patient. These were the human experiments, and here you can see that this is this one is the control group, sham group, and see the sugar level is very high. The red one is the experimental group with the tissue transplanted, cell transplant, and you can see the sugar level is dropping, and almost becoming normal at day 80 or between the 40 and day 80. Now, also the experiments were done on the animals, the mice. They took one diabetic mice in the control group and one another diabetic mice, which they injected the cells, to which they injected the beta cells. The mice has good control of the sugar and his reverser of his blood sugar level, but the other mice died of hyperglycemia, the increase of blood sugar level, because its sugar was not controlling. So this was one experiment on the patient, a real-time clinical experiment on a patient, and The patient underwent percutaneous hepatic transplantation of these cells, and the hemoglobin HbA1c level was dropped to 4.6% and become almost normal. Now I want to tell you about another experiment which was done on the type 1 patient, and same, they took cells from the patient and then they developed those cells into beta cells and then transplanted into the patients. And you can see here in the graph that his sugar level went down from the day of transplantation.